Disclaimer, this video is educational and informative in nature. Do not contact anyone shown in this video. Also, this video is discussing steroids. Do not use steroids. This is entirely for educational and entertainment purposes only. We've seen a lot of insane body transformations on this channel. Women converting themselves into men taking steroids to achieve physiques that are impressive but to a niche audience. Or men who are turning themselves 40 years old at the ripe age of 18. Hell, I mean, we've seen women growing beards and intentionally keeping them in bodybuilding on this channel. But this next one has to be some of the most insane steroidal-induced transmogrification I have ever seen, and likely you will have ever seen too. Meet Barbara Clarita, IFBB pro, now 51 years of age, someone who tends to go viral for all of the wrong reasons. Does she have some valuable things to say? Is there fitness insights that everyone could find helpful and share a thankfulness for? Maybe, but we're left with basically stuff like this. I mean, really, this is what we have to work with here.
Pronti per la Barbie dance? Vai! Vai così! Ancora! Oh! Vai! Barbie dance!
In this video, for instance, she's actually talking about wanting to talk to trees.
Vorrei poter parlare agli alberi, per spiegargli che è tremendamente sbagliato dare ossigeno proprio a tutti. Vostra coach Barbara.
Now let me get straight into the deep dive because there's a lot of lore to uncover here. It is really impressive.
I have always dreamt of this, the disproportion.
Barbara Carita, 51 years old, Italian former bodybuilder. How many surgeries did you have in your life?
For the breast, 5, filler for the lips, and Botox.
Barbara stopped at just 5 surgeries for her breast.
They are protheses called expanders, with the capacity for 8,000 cubic centimeters that can be filled up to 4,000 cubic centimeters.
Explains that those can be filled with sodium chloride solution through a valve.
Now before I get too deep into the lore and uncovering a lot of this stuff within the cornfield, if you will, I want to say thank you to a gal named Julia. I hope that's how you pronounce her name. She helped me really understand this entire situation by translating all of the videos and really giving me a cue as to what might be worth saying and where are some interesting interviews. It was extremely helpful and I thank you so much. She's a subscriber here, and speaking of which, if you haven't subscribed, I'm gonna pull out my little penny jar and ask you for pennies. A subscription is free to you and it gives you a couple perks. Basically, if you click that subscribe button, you'll get notified anytime that I do produce a video, as well as you'll become a member of what is a great audience here, and I would really appreciate it. They do matter a lot on YouTube, interestingly enough, and so if, 70% of you are watching these videos, but you aren't subscribed, it really does kill a channel, so please consider clicking the subscribe button. Back to the business. Barbara, like most everyone we talk about, started her journey out quite normal. At 20 years of age, she looked beautiful, actually, not too far off of what I would consider a very attractive woman that looks, what most people would want in a desirable, young, attractive woman. Not that she doesn't look beautiful now, I think just now it's more of an acquired taste.
At the beginning, I weighed 45 kilograms.
And now?
The last year, I have competed. In 2020, I've reached in off-season 85 kilograms, 187 pounds.
This is the before and after they show in the interview.
I couldn't see myself at 50 kilograms. Without muscles, I might not feel like myself anymore. Not comfortable.
So she started very young, and you might ask,
well, what got her into the steroids and body modification realm so quickly?
Well, it was her boyfriend. Again.
How did she start bodybuilding?
I've met this guy.
It's your boyfriend?
Exactly, he was already a professional bodybuilder.
So he started coaching you from the very beginning, and he prepped her to her first competition.
I did my first amateur competition. I won it, and that was it. I had to become Miss Olympia. I became a pro after winning the Italian Championship, the European Championship, 2 worlds.
For better or for worse, likely the latter, it seems that every time we discuss the bad cases of steroid usage, it has something to do with the boyfriend. There's always a a boyfriend in the picture who's been bodybuilding and maybe enables the use of steroids. Now, my thought is, whether it's correct or not in this situation, I do think it's correct a lot of the time. That male particularly wants to avoid the feeling of abandonment. So what can he do? Well, modify his girlfriend chemically. Now, I'm no psychologist here, so this is just a hip-firing the concept that might be a nothing burger, to be honest, but here's what I think. A guy knows that if he gives his girl Anavar or a numerous amount of different anabolics, she's going to have a far higher sex drive, a better physique, and at least momentarily a better outward look on what is the gym, effort, discipline, all that good stuff. But maybe most importantly for him, she'll become dependent on some form of performance-enhancing drug usage. Secondly, she'll also start to change her body in ways that's irreversible, making him a great solution as a partner because, let's be honest, your dating pool really does shrink when you change your voice a few octaves, create a jawline, and do other things. Now, I'm sure there's some freaks in the sheets, if you know what I mean, in the viewer section here, so if that is you and you prefer that kind of gal, so be it, but I think there's far fewer men who prefer that kind of gal as opposed to men that do. Now, the thing about Barbara, hold the fucking phone, is that a 2023 Suzuki Busa, baby? That Suzuki Hayabusa isn't just a motorcycle, you guys. This is really foundational knowledge. I need you to listen to me for the next 30 seconds, or maybe 60. We'll see. This is a motorcycle of legend. It is built on layers of lore, and it is exceptional. The Hayabusa is actually Japanese for the peregrine falcon, the bird known as the fastest animal in the world, capable of doing over 240 miles per hour in flight, an insanely fast animal. But the bike's bulbous and aerodynamic look is to some exceptionally ugly and to others appealing beyond belief. The looks being controversial also make it something of a unique take. When you pull up in this thing, everybody looks at it. And the functionality of its looks are something entirely different. The stability that one can achieve on a Hayabusa at 250 miles an hour is unlike anything anyone would have ever experienced before. Well, yeah, it's not the most attractive motorcycle in the world. It absolutely is the most outstanding at high speeds, making it an occult standout at every motorcycle meet, at every race, and fans of this motorcycle like to go fast. Shit, get carried away. Anyways, the thing about Barbara is this went far beyond just building muscle. Obviously, she's using a bit of the sauce. I don't think that's a hidden secret. She mentions it a lot on her Instagram. Clearly, she wanted muscle, but she's also desired a lot more. Basically, a centric approach around an extreme appearance. We are talking, obviously, about some of the situations that we see in her content. Enlarged breasts being one of them, a butt enhancement of some kind, facial modifications of other kinds, and filled lips like to the brim. However, interestingly enough, this is something that she mentions she's always loved and wanted to achieve.
What are those? Those are not your pecs. I mean,
This is something I've always loved, and exaggerated breasts. It's something that I could not do before. Obviously, because I was competing, I had way smaller prosthesis. Now that I'm done competing, I got myself what I have always wanted. These are not silicone prosthesis. These are filled with sodium chloride solution. Some go up to 8,000 cubic centimeters. They come with valves, and mine can be filled up to 4,000 cubic centimeters. At the moment, I have 2,000 cubic centimeters. The point is that they don't have to operate to change the prosthesis. They only have to fill them with solution.
Yeah, so she had her breast implants with valves placed in them for on-the-fly adjustments to size. Wild stuff. Currently holding a saluted 2,000 cc's in her breast tissue, which, for those who are unaware, I personally think like 300 cc's is getting to be a bit much for me. It's getting to be a bit much. And 2,000 is her stepping down from 7,000, which blows my fucking mind.
Barbara, that used testosterone in the past, warns us about a side effect.
I'm speaking to all the girls. Girls, be careful because once it become like this, you can't cut it out.
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Well, the size of the muscles increase as well as the size of something that is here. That is the clitoris.
Does it grow a lot?
Well, genetically,
It grows, it grows,
it grows.
it grows.
So once it's there, you have to keep it like that. Once you come off, it does not turn back as it was like before.
There are some sides that are irreversible.
I do not remember anymore how my voice was like before. The vocal cords thicken. And this is also something not reversible. You have to keep them like that. Very few people talk about this.
How did you feel about this transformation?
This transformation did not happen in a short period of time. It took years to come to this point. It has been one point in time in which we clashed to some degree because I wasn't fully accepting her physique and I didn't want her to reach some
Mainly
extreme
due
levels.
to fear.
Due to fear, because I really cared about her health.
So you tried to hold her back?
Yes, exactly. But Barbara is unrestrainable. So she won, and I got a version of her, a bit bigger than the norm, but I have to admit that I like her like she is now. I'm really happy.
Alberto says that he is not as happy with the comments Barbara receives on social media. When people tell you that you're ugly or you're a monster, how do you feel about that?
I do have an answer, and I firmly believe it like this. Being different is a privilege because we have to be able to become what we feel we are. We are privileged simply because we manage to be happy with who we are without needing a validation. I do not have to please you. I have to please myself exactly.
Then, if there is someone at home that would like to come to your face and tell you those things.
Exactly. Come here to me that I'll hug and kiss you.
As you can hear here, too, interestingly, with the steroid use and all of the changes that she's made to her body, she doesn't actually mind. In fact, she probably likes it, but specifically the clitoris. Her boyfriend seemed to be the one that was actually uncomfortable at first and urged her to slow down, if you can believe that. This, to me, is extremely interesting in terms of the psychological evaluation side of things. I mean, I can't imagine being in this sort of parallel conundrum with somebody in a relationship and asking them to slow down, but also having introduced them to the substance in the first place. And it's also very curious to me why somebody can have almost all of the signs pointing in the wrong direction and decide that that's still the right path for them, saying that, hey, this is not going to end well, people are not going to appreciate it as much as you appreciate it, might not be a good idea, but they do it anyways. Now, what is she talking about when she's referencing her voice changes and clitoral enlargement and other things?
If you looked at a photo of Barbara Carata from 30 years ago,
I often look at them because people online often ask me to post them because they all want to see how I was before becoming this weird being. I look at them and I don't recognize myself. Obviously, the critique is that now I look worse, but you have to like yourself.
Well, essentially, she's referring to the effects of taking steroids, anabolic steroids. You obviously would probably have heard now about testosterone, one of the male hormones that males tend to express in a lot more. However, they're in females too, these androgens. They're basically in all humans. They are in all humans. But there are synthetic variations of these androgens that are derived from the initial carbon chain. These might be DHT derivatives, dihydrotestosterone, which is a metabolite of testosterone, or these might be testosterone derivatives, or these could even be 19-nortestosterone, another metabolite that is modified to then be steroidal in capacity. But all of them, in some fact, do impact the androgen receptor. Now, when you activate that little androgen receptor on cell membranes, you cause some interesting things to happen. There's communication and crosstalk with the cell's nucleus and expression of DNA, RNA, and that information is then exerted to the entire body. Now, of course, one of that bits of information is to increase muscle mass, to build strength, to build ambition and goal-driven seeking, behavior, right? Like seeking something. But of course, the downside to that is you're also getting that expression, that information, telling your body to do other things. Shrink hair follicles, grow facial hair, deepen your vocal capacity. It actually enlarges your vocal folds, making them thicker so that almost like a guitar string getting wider, you get deeper strums every time you click your finger across. But in this case, obviously the air going through our voice and all that stuff. Now, these androgens play roles all over the body. These are just a few subsequent consequences, but one of the interesting things is when we are, little fetuses, or is it fetusi? It's definitely fetuses, I think, I hope. But when we're there, you have a huge surge of particular hormones, and that really does determine your sexual dimorphism. Are you female or are you male? And upon receiving the administration of said hormones from your parental human body, the uterus human, they turn you into male or female, essentially, right? And what happens is you get a clitoris and a vagina, or Jesus, I don't know if we have to bleep this out, or you get a penis, right? And at the end of the day, when you start taking taking excessive amounts of androgens as a woman, that expression that happened early in puberty that was dodged is now going to start to form. And so the clitoris enlarges, it grows because it's sensitive to androgens. It's now, in a way, not really, but in a way, becoming like penis in all terms. And this happens. When a woman takes androgens, this happens. Unequivocally, it happens. And it is the hallmark of why I make these videos, because a lot of women don't know this. They don't know that it's going to cause hair loss, clitoral enlargement, changes within their voice, changes within their facial structure, bone mineralization, changes in fat patterning amongst their whole body, thinning the skin in your face, enlarging skin in other areas. It's a very big conundrum that happens in fitness, and a massive problem that is widespread right now, where you have 17, 18-year-old girls taking steroids without understanding the implications of them, and sometimes even justifying them because they've had good experiences up until now. But thus, this is why we are here making these videos. This is just sad to me. It reminds me of a video that we just made on bazooka hands. These two situations are shockingly similar. Remember the kid that loaded himself up with synthol and his arms got infected, had to have it removed, kept doing it, enlarged his lips, his face, I mean everything to achieve this sort of larger than life, literally, appearance. There is this delusion that you don't look attractive while you're already being attractive that you simply can't escape for some reason, in these people's heads at least. And look, I'm all for looks maxing. Like, I love looks maxing. I do so many facial treatments, I do acid washes, Botox, I do a lot of different shit. But I would say it's very surface level and non-invasive compared to some of these methods. What I'm doing is simply looking to anti-age and make my skin healthier after years of steroid abuse. What this is something else entirely. And it's to a point where she can't even lay on her back. She can't rest and sunbathe. She can't sleep on her back or stomach. She has to be on her side, or as she said in this clip, rest by standing up.
I have always slept on my side.
So you can't sleep on your back at all?
No, it hurts me. The idea of crushing myself. You can't breathe. I mean, it is something that presses against me.
So you can't sunbathe your back?
No, I have to stand.
This combined with her vocal changes, it's just unfathomable.
Dimenticare che ogni passo è un vantaggio, star bene in segreto, non devi mollare, strizza le chiappe, continua a brillare, strizza le chiappe, strizza le chiappe. La hit dell'estate di Coach Barbara, strizza le chiappe, vi piace? Vostra Coach Barbara.
But in her world, this is what she wants. That's her desire. And all we can do is simply point at it, create opinions, and talk about it and address, why are these things happening? The interesting situation here is that she is sort of a one of one. She's a person that is a very unique case study to what happens to a human when they induce all of these physiological changes through androgen abuse, as well as definitely large amounts of plastic surgery. I'm going to speak this next part for her just because I think it's really important. In this video, somebody asks, do you see yourself really different from before, and do you like yourself more or less than before? She replies, I changed very much. I started out riding horses. I was a very skinny girl. I weighed 45 kilograms, which is 99 pounds for those of us who like freedom units. USA! USA! I was born female, and just to clarify, because many ask if I'm a male or female, I was born female and still am. But I am a bodybuilder, so I'm not a normal woman anymore. This is the clarification I want to make. I built my physique exactly how I like it. Even the exaggerated breasts, when others critique it and tell me that I won't obtain any results in bodybuilding because of it, I actually won everything I could have won. Then, when I stopped competing, I got my breast done this big because I like it. So the question, why did you do it? Because I like it. Period. Others don't like it, and that's their problem. I'm the only one that has to carry it around. And I mean, she's woefully correct. This is unfortunately a land of freedom to some capacity, you'd at least hope. And so making these choices is entirely on to oneself, but it is an interesting spectacle nonetheless. Clearly, she has a vision for herself. She knows what she wants. She knows what she's doing. If she chooses to blast steroids and modify every inch of her body, from her private parts to her face, to her breasts, to her butts, to everything, I mean, into her 60s, that's where we're at right now, right? I mean, that's her choice, but it sure is damn good and interesting content. I will say that. I do like, however, one thing in specific, amongst an amalgam of people who make content promoting drug usage, talking about how good it is and how you should do it too. We have this person who obviously is abusing steroids and has a very different take on life, also saying not to do these things. In this video, the interviewer asks, this physique cannot be reached naturally. This had to be said. She replies, no, absolutely not. The interviewer says, I trained for an example and it could never reach, I don't know, an arm or shoulder like yours. Barbara says, well, since you're a man, you could have my arm and shoulders naturally. Yes, but not at the same level or quality. Some volumes and details can only, unfortunately, be achieved by doing some of these life choices. How does doping work in Italy? Is it legal? I really don't know. It's not legal. Obviously, it's not legal. Guys, it's not legal and you can die. You can get sick. You can risk your life. So when I talk about doping also at a female level, it's because unfortunately people these days want to rush the process, especially younger people, to jump the gun. They want to make risky choices. When you're a woman, I made a conscious choice. And I love this statement. The problem at large today, though, is that a lot of these gals taking steroids so young don't even know what they're getting into. They don't have the knowledge to even make a choice saying yes or no. And that's kind of where things are derived from, a lot of it. And then, as they sort of get consumed by this bodybuilding thing, it's really hard to decompartmentalize that and step out of it again. And so, well, they already started taking it. They didn't necessarily know what they were getting into, but they're so deep in it. Why stop now? And the cycle continues. Anyways, you guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. It was definitely an interesting one. I am always perplexed by the characters on the internet. It's infinitely interesting to me. You could scroll for hours on someone's profile and just be amazed at what kind of person they are. I hope you have a beautiful week, and as Barbara says, an orgasm a day keeps the rats away.